I'm JoAnn Lordahl, and I write a lot of different kinds of things. My most recent is a poetry collection, and before that I wrote a book about aging, which I had been thinking about for a long time and finally got a chance to write. Age into Beauty, and it's reflections on aging and a kind of checklist so that you can think about where you are and what you're doing.
I understand your reviews for your Aging into Beauty is going very well. I've read some of it myself already. I don't know a lot about poetry. I know that there's different kinds. I studied it in high school, and the only kind that I really enjoy most of the time is probably limericks because they're quick.
Yes, and they're funny.
They're funny. And you have a book of poems that you collected over the years and published in a book. And how long did that take you?
40 years. That's from the start to the finish. But I started writing poetry very late. I was writing in my journal one day, and I reread a line or two that I had written, and I thought, that's poetry. That looks like poetry. And it was the end of a love affair, and I was, of course, writing a bunch of stuff and feeling bad and whatever. It was just the really right time for me to do that. And fortunately for me, when I started writing poetry, I didn't really know anything about it. I just started doing it. That's what I continued to do. One of the nicest things one of my friends told me is, she said, I don't like poetry, but I'm okay reading yours because you talk about something. It's not dense and you can't understand it. And I decided very early on that I was going to write so that people could understand it and so I could understand it, because I didn't know I just wasn't smart enough to do anything else. I've studied some poetry since then, and it's been helpful. I just love, for example, Mary Oliver. She just has such wonderful things to say, such deep thinking and getting at your emotions. It's very good.
In your studying, what are the various kinds of poems or types of poetry? Do you know officially how many there are?
I've read somewhere, don't belong to any kind of formal sort of thing. Basically started out an avenue of expression. I wanted to talk about how it felt being at the beach, or, things just came up and happened, and I would try to express where I was or what was happening.
So